I will present the presentation in the name of my colleague, Lovrenc Novak. Apologize for small glitches. He cannot join us today. So we will discuss the need for energy storage in the future. The study that we have performed was specifically targeted to Alpine region, called EUSALP. You see it here. That's quite a large region. So it includes Switzerland and Liechtenstein as non-EU members, then entire Austria, entire Slovenia, and then parts of Germany, France, and Italy. Pad Valley, France, Alpine region, plus in Germany includes entire German states of Bavaria and Baden-Württemberg. It's quite large region. 70 million people live within, and there is a lot of economic activities and also economic growth within this region. However, because Europe has committed to significantly reduce greenhouse gas CO2 emissions, Europe has started to build on capacity for renewable energy sources. With renewable energy sources, we mean hydropower, which was already discussed, but mainly photovoltaic and wind. These are both very intermittent sources. They cannot be controlled as the others, which we discussed previously. That means hydro, gas, nuclear, etc. So, of course, now we are faced with the need that the other sources, for instance, hydro, or maybe later gas, or even nuclear, will respond to how, I don't know exactly, but will respond to differences in generating capacity of renewable energy sources, which we know are highly flexible and uncontrollable. But at some time, this will not be enough. So the entire generating capacity, as European Union wish that photovoltaic and wind will increase in their share, this will not be able to be absorbed within the grid. But some of the energy will have to be what we call rejected, or will have excess production capacity from renewable energy sources for some periods of the year and some periods of the day. One of the possible solutions to this problem of excess generating capacity is to store the energy. And for that, we wanted to, or we proposed to EUSALP to perform a model which will have this ability to somehow predict how much energy from renewable energy sources will be rejected and how much storage will be needed, and how increase of storage or even reduction could impact, or how much influence it will have on the amount of rejected energy. And so we will predict somehow the evolution or different scenarios of evolution of energy system within this Alpine, EUSALP, we say, region for the future, and this we have done to the 2050 up to the renewable share in electricity production up to 80%. So what we had to do, we had to gather data on current power generation mix and also gather data on electricity production for all member states of EU-SALP region. That was quite a task because the data are not statistically collected in all member states and regions in the same way. What we wanted to do is to get an hourly production and combining the hourly production in the past and the capacity will give us this idea how much pumped hydro storage or other storage technologies could contribute to the stability, efficiency, and also to the cost of electrical production. This model or this task was implemented as a spreadsheet in quite large spreadsheet in Excel. So we have for every hour of the year here we have hourly production in wind. These are, we admit, not scenarios of each year, but they are, let's say, averages. And we know that every year is not an average, but still, we have to start with something. We did that for photovoltaic, for run-of-river, and so on. And then we at the end, we tried to match the consumption and demand in the entire year, from 1st of January till the last of December. We included electric vehicles to different extents, and then we were looking at the amount of storage that is required. Of course, amount of storage means both generating and pumping power. That means how much installed capacity we have, plus how much energy we can store. That means how much is the volume of the reservoir, or even if we would say so, you can have such batteries if you can buy them. And then we selected several scenarios. Not all will be presented here. So the first scenario is for the evolution of photovoltaic and wind in the share that means we take the amount of photovoltaic and an amount of wind generation, and when we talk about increase of renewable enable share, we maintain this share for the future up to 80% of renewables in electricity production, which, as I said, corresponds roughly to year 2050. What we see that the entire EU-SALP region, like Slovenia, as we discussed here, had a little bit of too little generation capacity. So we have to import energy. These two lines here. But we also see that there will be a lot of installation power which will be required for photovoltaic. What we call here photovoltaic and wind factor. These two are the same. And what is worrying is that after some time, around let's say 2035 or 2040, this curve goes up, and that means that Europe or EU-SALP region will have little time to react. So we can discuss whether we will be able to achieve such amount of generating power from photovoltaic and hydro. I wouldn't like to give an answer here at all. Just for this 100% that we have now, we needed, I guess, around 20 years. Even more problematic is scenario when we expect that photovoltaic will grow faster than wind, which is probably the most reasonable, because most of the analysis that I have seen discuss photovoltaic as in a human perception of ordinary people, plus those who can build those renewable sources, as the most promising, that one can be implemented in the easiest way. So the one that can be implemented. So we are now going toward even increasing the share of photovoltaic relative to wind generation. And you will see that when we approach 80% of renewables in electricity production, or basically not production, the use, we will have to reject more and more and more and more of electric energy, because it will be produced an inconvenient time, and it will be therefore rejected, or whatever we say. We'll have a surplus of this energy, which we will not be able to store. And just imagine, when you have already huge surplus of energy in summer, if you increase by 2 times that, you basically get nothing. Just maybe 10 minutes in the morning you cover, and then 10 minutes in the evening and nothing more. So really increasing the wind and photovoltaic ratio in the mix of energy will not give you the right solution for the future. We need something else, and we believe that maybe this scenario is the best to discuss. So if we multiply theoretically pump hydro storage in Alpine region 10 times, we achieve that no wind or photovoltaic generation will not be used, will not be stored. So much, approximately so much of pump hydro storage must be used if we want to go to such percentage of renewables in electricity. We can discuss how, of course, electric vehicles will contribute to the grid, and most probably we have assumed charging pattern a little bit wrong, and we have assumed that batteries of cars will improve a little bit, or that demand side management will be better. I think it will be better to some extent, and I guess that maybe you will be able to use, instead of 10 times PSH, you will be able to just build 8 times the amount of hydro storage, or even 6 times as much. We can discuss it, but I tell you that our model tells us that without building some kind of energy storage, we will not be able, with reasonable cost, to achieve such high percentage in renewable energy sources as we want to, or we have written in our strategy for European development until 2050. What we propose? We propose that we should increase pumped hydro storage on all possible levels if we want to achieve the targets specified in the roadmap of European Union development. If we do not start today, I think the stability of the grid will be challenged. And also the cost of renewable electricity generation will increase as much, because our society will not be able to allow renewable energy sources to be, let's say, masked within the total production, because at some time it will be too much and it will exceed the current absorbing capacity of other power plants in the grid itself. What we also think is that we should make some kind of smart grid or direct rating, if we can call it so, on the very regional level of a village, for instance. Okay, that leads us to the conclusion. As the concluding sentence, I would like to tell to you that energy storage capabilities will have to be increased significantly if we want to achieve the targets of European Union in renewable energy sources up to 2050. Thank you.